we are approaching the end of January. A good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yayira Awuno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. If you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us via social media, particularly on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages, and then also join in the live stream and send your comments there. We'll read them here. Now, the conversations for today, as always, are going to be interesting, as the online and print review is going to be having an extended version where part 1 will come earlier in the show, and then part 2 will be later in the show, where the phone lines will be opened and you can call and weigh in on some of the issues. Let's hear from you. Let's hear your sentiments about things happening around us. Now, on the lifestyle segments, we're going to be discussing property demand in the country and also urbanization. So this is a very, very interesting conversation. I'm sure that you're going to be interested in that. So please do well to stay tuned. Call a friend, text a friend to join in the conversation. But for now, let us go into our motivational quotes for today. Now, as the week is beginning, we like to motivate ourselves and our cherished viewers with something to do some introspection and retrospection on. And today's quote is by our very own Dr. Papakwesi Indume. He says, "If we do not build our own businesses, we will always work for others. If we do not build our own businesses, we will always work for others." Now, this is not a call to make everybody become an entrepreneur, but it is rather to tell us to, create jobs here as a nation instead of working for people outside of us. So now let's go a bit deeper into this quote. Now, this quote highlights a fundamental truth about economic power and self-determination. When a people fail to create and own businesses, they surrender the control of wealth, jobs, and decision-making to others. Entrepreneurship is not just about personal success, it is about building systems that employ, empower, and uplift communities. Local ownership keeps money circulating within the economy, strengthens innovation, and reduces dependence on external forces. Without it, even the most skilled, educated individuals remain trapped in cycles of employment where profits and long-term benefits flow elsewhere. Now, Dr. Indum's words are a call to shift from the mindset of survival to one of ownership, where creating businesses becomes a pathway to sustainable development, dignity, and true economic independence. Now, this is just to tell us that as a nation, we need to empower entrepreneurs, help them to also start businesses rather than waiting for companies or institutions from other places, external forces, to come into the nation to employ us so that we can generate the wealth for ourselves. We've seen these cases, especially when it comes to the oil fields here, even in Ghana, even in Venezuela, even in Nigeria. And this is a call to action that as a nation, we need to start something for our entrepreneurs. We need to empower them. And I'm hoping that someone out there who is an entrepreneur, aspiring to be an entrepreneur, will take this quote and use that as the sign to be motivated to start their business. Now, it's time for our weather report, and this is going to be given to us by Peter Insia, joining me here. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Ariana.
I hope you're well. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, doing very well. I hope you are too.
I'm good. So I can see the image behind you and has a lot of colors and a lot of things. So if you can quickly take us through so we know what to do. Those of us who don't have maybe our umbrellas will rush and go and buy one just in case it might rain.
All right. Thank you.
Take us away, please.
Thank you very much, Yayira. And this is the 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana, and this is to show how the weather is going to affect parts of Ghana. And then we have 3 maps indicating what will be happening in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And as we started last week Thursday by trying to understand the meaning of the colors and the symbols that we have in it, it still stands. The orange color means be prepared, the green, be aware, and the green color, anytime you see the green color, it means that there is low risk, and those of us who carry activities on the sea, it means that the sea is calm and all activities happening on the sea can actually take place, and the red actually stands for danger. And so this morning, according to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, patches of mist and fog are expected over the forested and mountainous regions, and at a few places along the coastal line this morning, along with a few cases of showers. So there's going to be the probability of it raining at the coastal areas, especially Accra, the Axim, the Cape Coast, and the other places is very high. And as the day progresses, sunny conditions will dominate across the country. So as the day progresses, as stated, sunny conditions would, be experienced over parts of the coast and nearby inland during the afternoon hours. So slightly hazy conditions will affect parts of the south, while the northern sector remains dry and hazy throughout the forested area. And this aspect of the map is the northern sector, the southern sector, the coastal area. And so that is basically about the overall or the overview of how the weather is going to be like in parts of the country. And then let's move on to the specifics. Can I get the other document? So we want to talk about what is going to take place. Yes, so Accra this morning, so I'm taking the major cities. So Accra this morning, the probability of, precipitations or showers, we're experiencing it in Accra is very high. And then the weather is going to be so cool. And then entering into the afternoon, there's a possibility of, showers as well. A little, precipitations and all that. And the weather is going to be a bit hot. So people here in Accra should take note and take in more water, and also avoid clothes that would absorb more heat, and possibly, take into consideration all that. You don't have to be on the sun for a very long time, because you are going to experience a scorchy day. And then entering into the evening, it is going to be partly cloudy, and the evening we are going to experience, cool weather, and that will also affect our sleep as well. Then when you go to Thakrade this morning, there's a form of, it is misty, and so some parts of Thakrade is, the visibility is not going to be that clear with some parts, especially the lowlands. And then entering into the afternoon, there is a possibility of rains and showers, and the weather too will be a bit hot. So we should, reduce the way we go about our duties in the afternoon, and we should take in more waters, the people at Thakrade. Then entering into the evening is going to be partly cloudy as well, and the weather is going to be very, very cool for sleep. And so when you go to Kumasi, the same thing this morning. Kumasi is also experiencing, there's mist there, so parts of the lowlands of Kumasi, visibility is going to be a bit poor for the lowlands, and so early commuters should also take note. And then the weather, the temperature is going to be very, very, very cool and then comfortable. And then entering into the afternoon, you're going to have sunny and partly sunny periods, and so the sun, you see the sun and a bit clouds. And then the weather too is going to be very hot, and so we expect, scorching sun and those areas. And so our market women and people who carry out their duties during the day should take note and get some umbrellas and, take more water. And then entering into the evening, the weather is going to be very cool for us to get a very cool sleep. And then when we go to Sunyani too, as the same applies to Kumasi. This morning they are experiencing misty, weather, a bit, visibility. So drivers should also take note. And then the weather too is very cool. It's very cool. There's no need to, wear jackets and all of that, take umbrellas and all of that. And then entering into the afternoon, the weather is going to be fairly dry and hazy. So people should take note. So it means that there will be dust and in the air, and so people should actually take note. The people at Sunyani. And then getting into the evening, it is going to be the same fairly dry and hazy condition with the temperature a bit cool and then normal. So let's move straight to Tamale. Tamale this morning, it is going to be dry and hazy. Dry and hazy. So more air, the air will be full of dust. And so if you are going out, especially the riders, put on your, Put on your, how do you call it? So that when, the air is blowing, you don't get infected with, particles and all that. And so entering into the afternoon too is the same thing, dry and hazy condition with a very hot weather. It is going to be very scorchy at Tamale. And then not Tamale alone, Tamale, Bole, Damango, Boligatanga, Nerewegu, Wa, so the northern region and the Savannah region. So this afternoon, it is going to be very hot at those places. So people, all of you at Tamale, Nerewegu, or the northern regions to take note. And then talking about the sea, today the sea is very calm. And so all those who carry the activities on the sea can actually go to the sea and embark on the activities. So basically, this is what the Ghana Meteorological Agency have for us today. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us. Up next is the online paper review. Stay with us.
You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review. But before we get into that, we have the word for the day. Word for today is an uncommon word. I don't think I have even heard it before, and it's a word that says abstruse or abstruse, and it is defined as something that's difficult to understand, especially because it's complex, abstract, or highly technical. Now, I have my co-hosts here with me who are also going to share with us whether they've heard this word before, if they also know the meaning, and what they also understand by the word abstruse. I have Miriam Abnadidi and Peter Insia with me. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
I hope we are well.
Up and grateful. Divine selection. An opportunity to right my wrongs and also build a legacy.
Wow, motivational quotes, right? Okay, so the word for the day is abstruse. We heard it. You know, let's do a little bit of spelling bee before we get into the online and print review.
Abstruse. Abstruse. Yeah, so I as usual, I put something together.
Producer will beat me.
Oh, something small.
Something
just
small,
not
okay.
just a. So you hear the words, still don't get the use. Too deep for the mind. Yeah, that's abstruse.
Okay.
Long explanation, nothing to choose, confusing the people, sounding abstruse. Break it down small, let the message loose. Hard to understand, we call it abstruse.
Oh,
it
lovely.
means that something difficult that you can't comprehend, you can't understand because it is complex. Yeah, so my basic understanding of it is that abstruse means something difficult that you can't understand.
Right. What about you, Miriam?
You see, to be on a live show comes with a lot.
Yeah.
You should be able to hold up so many things,
Yeah.
including laughter. Peter has been trying to,
Make
make
us
me
laugh.
laugh. Odeshi.
Yes.
Well, I think Peter has explained it. It is, something that is difficult to explain. And so, yes, after the rap Peter gave us, I don't think there is something.
There's anything else here.
There's nothing to talk about.
Right. Okay, so the word abstruse also has a few synonyms. So if you haven't heard abstruse, it's probably because you've heard some of its synonyms like obscure, esoteric, recondite, arcane, cryptic, complex, or opaque. These are all synonyms of the word abstruse. Then the antonyms, or words that have the opposite meaning, is clear, simple, straightforward, lucid, plain, intelligible, and easy to understand. So today's word of the day is abstruse, which is something that's difficult to understand, difficult to explain, something that's complex or even highly technical. Now, the opposite of that means that a thing is clear, it's simple and straightforward or easy to understand. Now, let's go into the trends for today. So, before we get into what I have here, is there anything you've picked up on the streets of Accra or even on the globe?
Sure. Yeah, there are so many things happening. I would like to start with the issue of transportation.
Okay.
I think it has been an agenda by the media from the beginning of this year that we are calling on government to make transport very easy for citizens. Because if I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours in traffic just to come to work, how am I going to be productive?
Right.
I'm not going to be productive. And our bosses might not even understand, our situation because probably they use their private, vehicles. But we that use the public ones, we know what we are talking about. You close at 4, you get home at 8 p.m., and it's a whole, issue for you. So I'm just happy that this agenda has started, and we are praying that, government will do something. But thankfully, last week, Her Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, Nana Jenopoku Agyemang, met with, I think, the executives of the Metro Mass Transit Limited. And after everything, it came out that about 350 new Metro Mass buses are going to be, sent into the country to help cushion, our transit system here. And so, these big buses have been doing inter transit or interstate transit.
Yeah.
And so they are going to be moving from inter to intra. So they'll be moving within our communities or our country. And so, not even our country, like the region.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll be having more of the Metro Mass buses from Accra to Pokwase, Accra to Medina, Accra to Kaswa, and the rest, just like what the Ayalulu buses are doing. And I think it will also help us. Now, the other issue is the fare. I mean, the prices.
Yeah.
We are hearing in the news that the racist agenda has affected fuel prices. And now you can buy fuel at 9 cedis per litre. Yet it is not reflecting in our fares. And I don't know, Peter, have you paid something less today? Oh, no, I mean, the beginning of this week. Because today you joined the bus.
Yes, from the beginning of this week, it's something, above the normal.
Yeah.
But yesterday I experienced one of the measures that government and then the transport ministry has put into place to actually ease. So yesterday, usually I pick car from Koko board, and then usually when I get there from that place to Kwashima, they are taking 10 cedis.
Yeah.
And then when you get a straight car to Suitium, it is 10 cedis.
10 cedis.
But yesterday, thankfully, I left here around 7:30.
PM.
I got there, 7:30 p.m. I got there, and then there was STC bus loading from that place to Suitium, and the fare is just 5 cedis.
Oh, okay.
Just 5 cedis.
Yeah.
And so
we thank God.
yes, it means that the government has actually heard our cry and they are putting measures in place.
Yeah.
But then there's other section of people who believe that this is the time for change.
Exactly.
Because we've entrusted our transportation system in the private sector. And here lies the case. It looks as though they are not doing what the people want. For it is high time government take charge.
Yeah.
And then how does government take charge? Bringing in more buses would, in a way, in as much as help commuters, would also bring traffic, because the private, transporters are still in town. These truckers are still in town with the buses also. And then we know the nature of our roads.
Yeah.
It is going to also cause traffic. So when we have excess buses with still the truckers also loading, now people would want to get to work early. Yeah. If you pick the car, there will be the bus, there will be delay.
Yeah.
And how the small cars are able to maneuver their ways to get to office early. And then, like you said, if you come to office late, you can't use that as an excuse to tell your boss that I was stuck in traffic or something. So when they bring in those buses and they don't control the other ones, it will cause traffic. So other section of the people are also saying that, no, government should look at the real lives.
Exactly.
Before now, it was very easy. People from Kaswa, people from Amasamai, Tamai, and the whole that. And there's still, some are still in section. Yeah. And the people are very happy about it. They are paying less transportation and all that.
And when it's faster.
Very fast. So when they're able to put these measures in place, people will even park their cars and use the trains. Yeah. So in as much as they are giving us, short-term relief, they should look at the long-term relief and put measures in place. And then yesterday, like the meeting with the transport.
So I have a question before you come to the next point. You mentioned that the government needs to take charge of this issue, but then I also want to ask, must we always rely on the government to take charge of everything? Why can't we trust the individual or the private institutions to be able to uphold their part of the public-private partnerships, where we know that you are a trustworthy institution or individual and you've been given this initiative, do what you need to do, uphold it with integrity and everything. Because in the end, looking at everything that we are calling on the government to intervene with and to come and take charge of, there have been certain institutions that were probably given to private institutions that ended up having to be saved again by the government. And it then now brings the fact that there will be so much pressure on the government that so many other initiatives they could have taken would be halted or even hindered or impeded upon, because they have to now go back to go and intervene in an issue that if somebody was just honest, it could have continued. Because like you're talking about the fact that, okay, people are paying the lower prices still, or it's back to that. There's also the issue of the short. It's still happening, where the car is going straight to Accra, but because they're going to get a certain amount extra, they will load to a certain point, and then load again. That is another form of extortion, and it doesn't seem to be spoken about much.
Yes.
You see, and these are individuals who are supposed to have been dealing with integrity.
I get your point, but we came here talking about how these private transport owners or drivers are extorting Ghanaians, and to the extent that people had to be, going in for the public buses, I mean the big buses, and we're calling on government to do that. These are the same people or owners of the private vehicles, and it will surprise you that the union, which is the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, these people are not part of the union. The short, small cars we see around, they are not under any union. They work on their own.
Okay.
And so these buses that we are bringing are going to create, in a way, like a competition for these small ones, because the ones government is bringing is regularized by government. It is under government control. They are going to be paying taxes. Government has an eye on them. And so if you are supporting government in boarding these public transports, we are in a way eliminating the small ones from the system. And so if you want to be recognized as part of a union, you have to join the union so that you pay taxes, so that you do the right thing. Because they are not paying taxes, they are not under any authority or leadership. That is why they are doing what they want. That is why they are extorting us. Because if your president of the union says everyone should charge 7 cedis from Circle to, let's say, La Paz, and you decide to charge 10 cedis, we can hold you accountable. But these people, we don't even know where they park their cars. They are in the system. They are also loading.
Then it means that all this innovative talk that came up at a point in Ghanaian history in recent times, we have to probably think about these tracking systems where if you are part of the union, there's a form of identification for you and tracking for you, so that, as you're saying, we don't even know where these people come from and how they work and go and all of that. So that if you are probably doing something bad and you are reported, you can easily be identified. And then when you are in the system, maybe there's a database, and now the public is made aware that, okay, if you board a car and they charge you, if once you know their number plate even, you can call and make the reports. They will be able to trace who it is. It would help us, because we are in a system where sometimes you board a public transport vehicle and you never see that car ever again. You see, so it is not even regulated in that sense where we know that, okay, we in Accra, let's say, we know that from, let's say, Kwashiman to Accra, we know that, okay, 50 cars operate on a daily basis on this stretch. We don't have that kind of database even.
Yeah, so yesterday, like Mimi said, after the meeting with the transport minister and the Ghana private, those private unions association, they came into a conclusion. And so the essence of the meeting was the fact that the GPRTU should, what they've observed on the grounds and why the drivers are doing that, they should just bring their report to the ministry and have way. So after the meeting, thankfully, an interview with the GPRTU PRO, Abbas Imoro, he made mention of certain measures that going forward they've put in place to ensure that these drivers do not extort passengers. And one is that all drivers that belong to an association, so let's say if 50 drivers belongs to GPRTU, they are going to give out stickers to serve as an indication that when you see this sticker, you know that this driver belongs to this organization. Once the person, goes contrary to whatever that they are expected to do, you can report them to the various, institutions. And also, he made mention of the fact that if you are to load from Amasaman to Accra, you have to stick loading from Amasaman to Accra. You can't decide to load from Amasaman to Kaswa. No. So if you are loading from Amasaman to Accra, you stay strictly to that. So these are some of the measures they are putting in place. And then there are people that also go around to ensure that those still that do not want to stick to what is expected of them, they will hold them responsible. So I think for the short term, it is something good, because we are in this country and we've all seen and witnessed the fact that if there is an issue, we give short-term, solutions to it, and after some weeks,
system.
we forget about it. We can talk about the decongestion exercise, but this one is very critical. Like Mimi said, it worries each and everyone in this country. So
I don't even want to cut you, but I want to talk about the maintenance. Even if we are going to receive over 1,000 buses in addition, if we are not maintaining these buses, what's the essence? Recently, I saw in the news that about 200 or over 200 unserviceable buses were sold to scraps. Unserviceable buses. So, and one was sold at 2,000
cedis, which is appalling.
That's where the accountability comes in. And then sometimes it looks as though the reason why a lot of people call for private, private people in businesses is the fact that because it is private, people are so careful about their dealings and all that. But because it is government, people don't care. After all, it is not coming from me, it is not my money. But it is high time people who are in position, we hold them accountable. And so look at what is happening. For you to sell a bus, one bus, 2,500, how much is
even the old car at home was sold for much more.
We have the video of the Vice President in a meeting with the Metro Mass Transit Limited. Let's take a look at it.
Thank you so much for finding time to come here. Madam Vice President, I want to first of all thank these hard-working workers for operating under a smaller capacity but making profit for me.
You make me feel so much at home that I was even sitting down and thinking that, why don't I move my office here? Another issue that makes me very, very happy is to learn that you are generating more with less. You should applaud yourself. Such are the results that give us hope. They give us hope that we can do more. It's also a warning that we should never get to where we used to be. How did all the buses break down? How come we are working with about 60% of what we used to have? How come we used to have 1,000 or so and we are happy with the 400? Something went wrong. Whatever it was, we need to fix it and never return to that situation again. And 400 buses, there's more we need to do. How do we do it? By linking our minds, by working even harder, by sharpening our focus, and by expanding our vision. I believe we have engineers, so we need to find out, what do the engineers lack? How can we support them to do better? So that they are not just fixing the buses or the vehicles of Metro Mass, but even the vehicles in other places, because they have the expertise. This country has invested so heavily in training, so heavily in education. We must see the results. And we can all make the results more and more visible. I know the ministers are playing their roles. I know the management is playing their role. And so are all of you. And especially the commuters. Government is willing to play its role, to retool Metro Mass, to supply even more buses. And as time goes on, yes, 10 years is a long time. But we also know we live in a country where even vehicles that are older are functioning. Let us take good care of property that comes from the government, because that is all of us. So I want to cut this short. Thank you for your time. Thank you for accepting us and for your report. I recognize all the situations you have inherited, and I'm very happy to note that you are not feeling daunted by them, but that you are rather confronting the situation and finding solutions. What is happening is that we are seeing undue long queues, frustration, and delays. So we needed to find out what was going on and how to solve the problems. And I keep saying that we're not even working for anybody. We are working with people. So their input, what their situation is, what they are going through, all of this should be of primary importance to us. And this explains why we spent part of today doing this. And I want to assure you the promise that our president has made. He's going to work quickly on supplying high occupancy vehicles to agencies. And these agencies include the Metro Mass, they include Ayalolo, so you should be happy about that. And they also include the private sector.
Right, so that was our Vice President, as Miriam mentioned. So we have a comment here, and then wrapping up, I have a question for you and for wrapping up on this topic, sorry, not the whole segment. Now, we have a comment here. It says, hello, my name is Daniel. I don't agree with the gentleman's submission about the traffic. The public buses work with time, which makes people leave town early. Besides, it carries more passengers as compared to the smaller ones. Most people don't board the cars early because the prices are high.
The prices for which one? The buses?
For, I think,
the small ones.
The trotro, yes. Then also, I saw reactions on the same issue on social media where people were calling for the government to phase out the trotro system completely, where we will no longer rely on these cars and in the maneuverings, but rather we would have more buses like a lot of the countries, in the West, where these buses work with time, as the comment said, and, we would be boarding. It will also have a freer flow. I remember some weeks back when we were here, we were talking about this issue. I was also saying that if we are going to have more of these buses, then there should be some sort of segregation. There should be the cargo ones, and then the ones for passengers, because I remember even on that day we had a caller who also mentioned that you board the Metro Mass and somebody has their fish in the bus. You are going to work. By the time you get off the car or get off the bus, you're smelling of fish, and your perfumes that you've spent so much money to buy, it's not even,
So on a lighter note with the perfume issue, you can put the perfume in your bag when you get to the office and then you spray, because man say
what is perfume
and the best in fashion bag who do office and where you see. But
which perfume will mask someone said and
you can have two attacks. No. On the issue of phasing out the trotros and just using the buses.
Yeah, I want to know what you think and what viewers think, so they can send their comments.
I don't think it will work. It is not going to work. These are forms of employment for our people. We are already struggling with unemployment issues in this country, and you're going to phase out. You're going. How are they going to survive?
There are so many job opportunities out there.
But
24-hour economy.
I see. I don't think it's a good idea. It's just the authorities that are supposed to be putting things, right. Just as I said, make sure that everyone is under the union. And then you spoke about tracking. We give them cards, stickers, those kind of things, so that everyone is regulated. You know that you are part of this union, you are working, you are sticking to your time and that kind of thing. But phasing them out there, I don't think it will help.
I also want to add up that.
Yeah, what do you also think about that?
So, but before that, even without these new buses, we can all see or talk about the kind of traffic we have in this country. It doesn't matter the time you wake up. You definitely meet traffic. So we have all these cars already available, and we are bringing new ones. So it means that we just have to expand our routes, get lanes for like these buses, and then we have Ayalolo lanes and all that. So if you don't tackle this issue from the grassroots, and then even if you have all those buses and then these drivers are not disciplined, they'll still cause traffic. Sometimes the traffic is not something so difficult. It is caused by an ordinary driver trying to, maneuver. That's how the traffic happens.
Sometimes you'll be in the traffic and you realize that you get to a point and the cars are flowing, like they're just going free. And you're like, what happened? There was nothing there. And so it's just our mindsets as individuals. We need to.
So when you go outside, those using the buses with the time, like the UK, the US, the road is free. There's no
trotro there. Nobody's
so right now that we are trying to, like Mimi said, she says she doesn't agree, but then you have to be law-abiding citizens. You do this and you do it. So if you won't do or you won't abide by the laws of the country, then it means that you have to go away for the people who abide by it. Because if you don't abide by it, other people are suffering. do this and you don't want to do the other thing. So do this and you don't want to do. You just have to go away for those who will comply to comply. And then wrapping up on this issue, I also want to talk about accountability. Accountability is very imperative. Now that we are hearing that they sold about 113 buses at 2,500. We should hold the people accountable. And we know that Metro Mass, transit, is public owned. So it is high time. I don't know if we've been able to identify an individual
these things,
or somebody who owes, Metro Mass. Sometimes when you look at the other picture, now we are saying that they were sold to private individuals. But currently, as it stands now, we don't know just even one person who owes, Metro Mass Transit in this country. So I don't want to believe that it is going to be...
Is it not a public institution?
A propaganda. Yes, and they said
there is somebody
buses,
who is managing it.
No, we are told that these buses are being sold to private individuals.
So they'll just have to spray the body and then change it.
But these buses were deemed unserviceable.
Exactly.
So how come after selling it, the person can service it and use?
So that's why they are scraps. Maybe they use the body,
parts.
Something like that.
So we should be able to know the number of, transit buses that came, let's say, from the start of this whole transportation issue. So that when we go to we are aware that when you go to the various, the various towns, regions in this country, there are places that these buses are being parked. So if you know the number of Metro Mass buses we have in this country, we do that calculation, go around the country and see where these buses are parked. And then when we find out that some of these buses, maybe we brought in 100, now we have only 15 or 20 remaining, then we find out if indeed they were used for scraps or if they were sold. So accountability is very key. So we don't say like this, then that's all. We need to find out what is actually happening.
Right. Okay, so moving away from that, the main issue or main trend I have here is that the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is going to be clearing sex workers and migrant beggars, from the streets of Kumasi. And this is posing a bit of a conversation about, whether it's possible and what exactly is the main reason. Is it for beautifying the place or truly to, create some sort of law and order? So my question for you would be that, is this decision is it really about sanitation and the order, or it's about optics? The way... we know Kumasi to be garden city, this, that. Is it really about law and order and sanitation, or it's trying to bring back that image of the garden city?
Well, I don't think it is necessarily about law and order, because this is not the first time such an exercise is being embarked on, especially in Kumasi. And several exercises were undertaken, just that they were not termed as a crackdown on sex workers and migrant, beggars. But they were termed as decongestion exercises, city sanitation and security operations, removal of street nuisances, among others. But just like what happened in Accra some time back, we had a decongestion exercise in Accra where everyone from, the pathways were sent back into the market, and the street beggars were also picked up. We saw that the whole city was clean. Right after 2 weeks or just a month, not even a month, the people...
After some time,
the people still came back. Even with Accra, that has all the necessary law enforcers. I don't want to say enforcers, people that can ensure that we take, or there's a serious crackdown on these issues. It failed. My question that I'm asking our viewers this morning is, what can Kumasi also do differently so that this unforeseeable or foreseeable failure will not happen in Kumasi? Because Accra na Kumasi.
Well, somebody could also argue that maybe the populations could be less in Kumasi as compared to Accra, so maybe it'll be easier. But then again, like you're saying, what will Kumasi be doing differently?
You see, when it happens like that, Peter, before you come in, the root causes are not, addressed. That is the whole point. Root causes. What is causing these people to go on the streets?
Let's Peter come in, then we go into the root causes. So, is it about optics or it's about sanitation? What do you think?
So, all together. Sanitation, law enforcement, and a bit optics. But then, in a way, also going to protect the youth.
Okay.
So the issue about these prostitutes and urban areas, not only Kumasi, like Mimi stated, Accra is a part of it, but kudos to KMA for that initiative. And it shouldn't be limited to that. Like Mimi said, we need to tackle the grassroots. So you taking them away from the street is like cutting the leaves of a plant without uprooting it. It will come again.
Yeah.
And so this issue about prostitution, the section of people that it affects is the youth. Now, if you take them...
Is it only the youth?
By majority, the vulnerable...
People go to patronage. Okay, please proceed.
So if you take them away without tackling the root cause, they've created the demand. So it means that you take the old faces away and new faces come.
They will just come, yeah.
So you've created the demand and they have to fill that. So the old faces go away, and then there's many reports indicate that these prostitutes are foreigners.
Yeah.
So you pick them, you take them away, they don't go. And even when you take them away, different people come to occupy the space. They don't go away, they come back. So if you picked them from Adum, next time when they come, they won't go to Adum, they'll go to a different place. They've created one place at Adum, they'll create another one. So it continues on and on and on. So they should also look at the enabling things that are helping them to, create that kind of avenue. And one I see is building owners, like hotels. So let me even bring it back to here in Accra. When you go to most of the places where these prostitutes are found, there are hotels there, there are rooms there. The landowners are giving it to them at a very cheap price for them to, go on with the activities there. And so after arresting the ladies, do a background check. Some of these ladies, like we know, they were, persuaded to come. They promised them of job, and then they came, and then they are into prostitution.
So I think
basically
you're linking it to what Miriam asked, that what is the root cause?
Exactly.
And I think when we read on the issue, there was a part about human trafficking or sex trafficking. And let's just put it as human trafficking, because when we now go into human trafficking and break it down, then we find the sex trafficking, that's the sex work, that some foreigners have been brought into this country to come and become, prostitutes and, do other things. And then the beggars are also part of some sort of syndicate for somebody. So they beg, they get the money, and then they go and give it to somebody. And this is all, it goes even as far as child trafficking, because most of them are actually children, very young children. Almost, I think the youngest I've seen is about 3. And they are, at least approximately 3 based on what they look like. And they're on the roads begging for money, and, these things will definitely elicit pity out of you to pay and all of that. So right now, one of the root causes is human trafficking. Where do we even start from?
Yeah, so that is why I said that after, picking these people, you shouldn't end there. You pick them, you take them. You should find their even transporters. When you go to today here, there are cars there that go straight to Nigeria, Togo, and all of that. So these people, they are underage, 15, 16, 17 years. They can't find their way to this country. So definitely there are people behind collaborating with this transporter to bring them in and out. So after, fishing out these people, we have to go down deep the issue and, punish the people involved. Other than that, we just do it like you said. We just do it. It's just a 9-day wonder, and they come back again. And then the beggars too on the street is very sad. And so this goes on to the fact that our immigration, our borders are porous. And so those who are manning our borders should, always conduct a thorough, inspection. There's sometimes suspicion and all that. And then how do they even troop into the country? They come and they are all over in the urban centers. They don't go to the villages. And just because they feel that, so when you interact with them, they are actually making money. The beggars, the prostitutes, they are actually making money. And so you taking them back, they will still come again. And people have seen that it's an avenue to make money. And so whether you like it or yes, if you sack them from A, they will go to B, from B to C. And they are involving so many people. It's an issue we need to tackle very seriously.
So for me, over the years, I've realized that when it comes to these crackdowns, the law enforcement is so harsh in a way that we are just taking everybody off the streets, that kind of thing. But can't we also look at it from a different angle where we are making it a bit balanced, you know, having a clear identification of children, people who are really, really disabled. I mean, we see them, some are fake, some are real.
Yeah.
You know, some fake their disabilities, some too genuinely they are not really able to fend for themselves. So that we can have a separate operation on these people. Those that are fit and can work, you send them back. But those that are disabled, the children, we have, you know, agencies that are willing to support these people. We take them there, something like that. Maybe we build something, a building somewhere. We have a building somewhere where we take them
it's
there.
Something I remember when we were talking about what the hole that has been made in place of the National Cathedral.
Yes.
Was, I remember I used to say that it can be used for a homeless shelter where, you know, it will be one of the social intervention policies. These people at least have a place to lay their heads. If they have work to go and do somewhere, at least at the end of the day, instead of sleeping on the streets, they come there.
Yeah.
This is some, like, just like you're saying, it's something that will help. But then I've been told we have spent all the time on the transportation issue. So I think the rest of the conversation will continue in the part 2. But before we go, let's take your newspapers.
Because
newspapers.
something worrying happened in Nigeria, and I think I sent the video to our producer. If we can take a look at that, where some people in a community were being seen, you know, fetching fuel from a tanker that had crashed, and then they were just going in there with their buckets to fetch the fuel. So, and I don't know if our producer can play that for us.
So that will be discussed in the part 2 of the online and print review. So you can mention it again. So let's take your newspapers quickly, then we move into the next segment.
So I have with me the Daily Graphic, and on the front page it says 98% of lands can't be registered. Owners at risk in dispute. Remember last week we were discussing this, and a whole lot of people have issues with that. And then we have Immigration Council unveils new project for border protection. And I know we will talk much more about it during the part 2. We have Ofori Atta case. Atta Kennedy urges voluntary return. Ayukoi Otu backs trial in absentia. Name airports after Kwame Nkrumah, not Kotoka, renewed advocacy. Because you say there's no time, I'll just end it here.
Right. So if you want to get more of these stories, which of the daily graphics? Today's daily graphic?
No, just Daily Graphic.
Just daily graphic for today, right?
Yes.
Okay. Miriam, what about you? What do you have for us quickly?
So yes, I have the Mirror newspaper, today's own, and we have a few stories making headline. My landlady wants me to share a room with her son, and Ghana flag raised higher with institutional patronage. Fashion forward with Juliet Ibrahim, and also allegedly does not protect against lawsuits. This is by the lawyer. So these days we find a lot of people, you know, when they want to say something, they don't want to be sued. And allegedly.
Yeah.
So now who defame you will be allegedly. Now who insult you will be.
Right. So if you want to read more on that, you get the Mirror newspaper and then get into the stories. This brings us to the end of the first part of the online and print review. Up next is the lifestyle segment.
Because from once quiet towns turning into busy cities to rising rents, gated communities, and the constant search for just one room and half, Ghana is changing fast. Now, urbanization is reshaping how we live, where we live, and how much we pay to live there. But what is really driving this growing demand for property in our cities? Is it the population growth, job opportunities, lifestyle choices, or something else entirely? And what does this mean for the ordinary Ghanaian trying to rent or own a home? This morning on the lifestyle segment, we are going to be unpacking urbanization and property demand in Ghana with a development manager. He's well vested when it comes to the conversations regarding urbanization and property demand. And he understands how our cities are expanding and what it means for our future. So you have to stay with us because this conversation, I beg your pardon, affects your rent, your neighborhood, and your long-term plans. And so you can also get interactive with us via streaming platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Our WhatsApp number will also be displayed on the screen, and so you can engage us with your comment as well, and we'll gladly read that out. Now, I have with me my guest. Let me briefly read his profile so that we get to know who we have here in the studio. So, OJ Ofori is a project manager, independent development consultant, author, founder of Koko Consults Limited. He has expertise in so many fields. I mean, driving growth through project management, real estate, land acquisition, and so on and so forth. And so you should know who we are coming to talk with this morning on the show. So you get engaging us or get interactive with us on our streaming platforms, just as I mentioned earlier. So let's get straight into the conversation. Hello, sir.
Hello.
I hope I got your name right.
You did.
Okay, you're welcome to the morning show.
Thank you very much.
Let's start off with understanding what urbanization is. We've learned that in basic schools, primary school and all that, but we can just start with something like.
So to put it simply, we are looking at the shift of populations and the migration of populations from the rural areas into the urban centers. That's basically what the subject matter of urbanization is about. And if you look at the statistics of our nation, by the year 2030, the urban centers will hold about 70%. The rise in population will be about 70%. And urbanization is driven by factors like people looking for better jobs, health amenities, social status, all of that. So a couple of industries drive urbanization. For example, the services industry, which is responsible for 54% of our GDP, the manufacturing, 15% of our GDP, better education, healthcare. So in simplicity, that's what urbanization is about. Yes.
I like the statistics, but in reality, what is actually pushing people into big cities like Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi? What is pushing people into these cities?
Well, like I said, it's driven by, for want of a better word, need.
Okay.
So typically, rural areas have less amenities, hospitals, education, health, looking like electricity, water, drainage.
Yeah.
And so people in search of a better life would want to move from the rural sections and come into the urban areas, because then obviously they can educate their children better. Once they have a better education, they stand a better chance to compete with their peers in getting all the various opportunities that are around.
Okay.
If you look at our nation like this, much of our drive is centered even around Accra. Accra accounts for about 50% of the output, economic drive and output of our nation.
Okay.
So there's a lot of drive towards the urban centers. You look at Accra, you look at Kumasi, you look at Takoradi. And Takoradi is happening that way because of the oil boom.
Okay.
So these are the things that are driving the factors of urbanization. And also job search, better opportunities. Because if the thermal industrial area like this employs over 100,000 people, just in that zone.
Oh, okay.
So that alone will drive a lot of movement of people to stay in that zone, because it will make no sense to work in the thermal industrial area and then be living beyond Kaswa, maybe Budumbura.
Maybe that's where my house is.
Okay, you may argue that you have a car, but the stress of going that stretch, so you'd want to probably move closer. So these are some of the factors that affect this.
So how has urbanization also influenced the demand for housing, properties in our cities as well?
That's an interesting question. So, on the matter of demand, presently as we stand as a nation, there is a deficit. When I say a deficit, a need of over 1.8 million units of housing. Okay. And that is how much demand there is because of the influx of people from the rural communities into the cities. That is the amount of demand we have. So if you look at, like in economics, demand and supply. So if there is such a demand, then obviously we need to be able to meet it. So urbanization has brought about a high demand. Lands, commercial areas, rental properties, recreational centers, all of them are needed. So it has just pushed up the matter of demand. Yes.
So now we know the demand for property is high. A lot of people are into building these days and all that because of the demand. Yet the prices are not affordable. We can't afford the houses. You go to places like Amasaman, Pokwase, Kaswa,
yes.
Even in Sawom.
Yes.
And then you see new buildings and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can afford these houses.
2,500 cities a month for a 2-bedroom.
And somewhere in, maybe Mamprobi or Kolegono, you get something quite affordable. So people are building, yet housing is not that affordable. What is the problem? Now,
like I was saying, demand and supply. So you have a demand of over 1.8 million units. And then you are producing about 40,000 homes every year. Okay. Then again, you have land is not going to increase.
Yeah.
God created the earth. No new earth will be added to it. It's the same amount that is being divided.
So it's not going to expand.
Yes, the earth is not going to expand.
Oh.
So what we have, so there's scarcity of land. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Now, there is a high demand, like I've said. You have 1.8 million demand of units. You are producing just 40,000 a year.
Okay.
Then building materials are also increasing in price. So with this said, if you are an owner of a property and you are building, I'm trying to, recent development that we are doing for a lady is just an apartment complex. Just the first phase alone, the cost involved is almost about 580,000 Ghana cedis, just for the first phase. So the rise in the cost of building materials is contributing. The scarcity of the land is contributing. Okay. So like you were saying something interesting. If you look at the OEB stretch, lands around Apollonia, we're going for maybe 80, 90,000 somewhere last 2 years. By 2025, they had hit 150,000 and now they're in 200, 250,000. So these are some of the issues affecting it. The scarcity of the land itself, building materials, and then the demand, especially. Yes.
Okay. Are we also seeing more demand for rental properties or home ownerships?
That is a matter of dicey discussion. But rental properties are higher because clearly, like you were saying, the costs are rising. You look at $150,000, $250,000 to get an apartment complex somewhere in Cantonment or East Legon if you want to live in those places. And then we have a lot of middle income people in the urban centers. So most of them, about 60 to 80%, are living in rental properties, and that is actually shooting prices also. Yes.
Do you see some lifestyle choices contributing to this high demand in properties and also the prices for rent also going up? Maybe I decide to live a particular life, that's why...
Of course.
Is that a factor?
Most of the middle income people presently want to live in gated communities.
Okay.
So a smart developer gets a 2-acre piece of land. He puts in townhouses, puts in a gate, gives it a nice name like, I don't want to mention any name, but a nice name.
Yeah.
You are Abna, right?
Yeah.
So Abna Estates.
Amen.
Or Abbey Estates.
Amen.
And so making it Abbey Estates or Abbey Horizons gives it an exclusivity. So everybody wants to have a sense of exclusivity. Oh, I live in Abbey Horizons.
Yeah.
It's better than to say I live in Pokuase or Amasamai or I live in Domi. Polk City, okay. All right, so I live in Pokuase. Which side of Pokuase do you live? I live in Abbey Horizons Estates. So this desire for people to live a certain exclusive life is also contributing to these rises. Because with that said, it means that developers must push and create these mixed developments. For example, now, we have a lot of people working from home. So people want to have their places like that. It's his house, it's his office, it's his playground, it's everything.
Yeah.
And so if you want that, then developers must be creative and create that. And that simply means high prices also.
But in turn, can we also say urbanization is influencing how people live their lives? Because if I live in a place where, just as you described, the environment is all gated and all that, will that also influence my life as an individual?
Well, so mainly it's a sense of self-worth and pride that comes with it. A sense of security. Okay, I live in a gated community, so there's a security. Okay, there's electricity 24/7. So yes, it affects our lifestyle because if you live in a certain section of the city, you have lights almost all the time. 98%. I personally don't remember the last time I had a light off where I live.
Please, where do you live?
But that's coded. But I mean, you hear of other places, and here my lights are out. I'm because I don't experience that.
Beverly's house, where she lives, they're always experiencing light out.
So, water, they tell you, my water has run out for 1 week, and you're like, because you don't experience that. So that desire to also want to have that lifestyle where you are not having glitches in water, basic things like electricity and all that. For example, if you live in signature apartments at Shashi, okay, people sometimes want to have a view. So they say, I want to, you deal with clients who say, one client recently from the US wanted a building in Ghana. She wanted a building that oversees the city.
Hey.
So she wants one in Ebri that oversees the city where she can have a city view in the night. And she wants it on top of a story building. See? So she has only two options. Either to rent a place like that or to build.
Okay.
And to build means she has to go towards Ebri, buy the land, which is good dollars now.
Okay.
Some people will say, I want a building where I can see the sea.
Okay.
See, so those are the things driving it.
I'm happy that you happen to be a development, project manager, and so I can ask you what you think the solution is to this whole urbanization thing. I know someone who wants to build a house, but where he wanted to build a house, there was no land. And so he was asking whether it was possible to build on top of somebody's building. Is that possible? Just on a lighter note.
I believe that we as a nation haven't yet altered our mind to that place yet.
Okay.
In certain developing countries, that has become the norm of the day. You build, and in Ghana, everybody likes to have a big land and their own space.
Okay.
But in some places now, they build and then you leave the top flat. Somebody comes to buy that and goes up. So nobody owns the entire complex. We all own various portions. But here we live in our parts of the world where I want to own my own thing.
I don't want anybody to come
on top
around
of you because of our court issues and those stuff. So we will get there, I believe, but it's a matter of time. So what we are trying to do now, mostly as developers, is move towards affordable housing. And well, affordable is relative though, but to build in specific areas. So if you go to a place like Adenta, some beautiful projects are coming up with affordable housing principles, which will make it relatively easier to rent. 1,500.
Okay, so let's just stay on affordability. So as a developer, what do you think makes a building affordable? Because you said it's relative, but it should, rarely it should be, something that anybody at all can afford if we are using affordability. So what makes it affordable since you are into affordable buildings? Well,
so if you talk about, when we say affordable housing, the word I think sometimes is deceptive.
Exactly.
But what we are simply trying to say is that something that at least the middle income person can get. So you try to look at the standard of living, the economic factors, the amounts that is coming in, and then you create a building size. For example, let me look at it this way. When you look at a building, as for the core and shell of the building, the cement and the blocks, pushing up is okay. But when we get inside the building, do you want Italian tiles or you want Ghanaian tiles? Do you want an Italian or Turkey sink? Do you want a Turkey door? Those are the things that drive the price. So you can say that, okay, a developer will say, let me use some local products which are also of quality to reduce the pricing and then give the people what they want. So those are some of the ways around.
So basically you look at the people or your target audience and then you do what will help them.
Exactly. But the beauty about it is that, or should I say the beauty about it, what is happening is that because of influx of influence around peers, everybody wants to say, I have Italian tiles in my house. In my kitchen, I have a marble sink. It's not a wooden sink, it's marble. And I want to tell you the type of marble it is. So
There's a problem. I think there's a problem. Or these people have the money and so they can afford whatever they want.
So it's a matter of your preference and your lifestyle choice.
Okay, so let's look at the planning of our buildings in Ghana, especially Accra. Do you think we are on the right track?
You know, in our part of the world, we have a lot of laws and rules, but sometimes the implementation is quite challenging. So our town and country planning are doing their best as they can. At least I've been in the field for a bit. They are doing as best as they can. But sometimes you have things like the people double selling land, and then I had an issue last year where a woman was sold a road as a land on the Dodowa stretch, and she didn't know, so she had bought it, going to build, only to be told by, hey, that's a road you are building on. So those are some of the challenges we have. And as for the planning and the zoning out, it's there. Presently, there's a plan by the government to try to move. You see, the city center is choked. So to move across the Oyibi Apollonia stretch. Initially, it was around the Oyarefa stretch. Beautifully done. But that place is also getting choked. So we are moving into the Oyibi stretch. They're trying to construct the road so that it will move people there. The government is intentionally investing in infrastructure in that place. So as for the plan, is there. But sometimes our attitude and the way we go about things as a people affects us. Yes.
Okay, so if you're watching this conversation, we are encouraging you to interact with us, send us your comments, questions regarding, property demand, property ownership, that kind of thing, and we'll answer your questions for you. We have one comment here, and it says, are there any affordable housing schemes in Ghana that are specifically designed for young people, and what steps can the youth take to benefit from them? Young people, as in those living in school, graduates, and those starting life.
One thing I usually like to do is not to answer questions generically, because everyone is different. You say a young person in school, okay, his father and his mother have $1 million in the account waiting for him. That person is different. You have somebody from, excuse me, let me use Bontefu, who is also in school, who has a vision to want to own a house. But that person, the approach will be different. So what I'll say to such person is probably I'll give my number out. The person can reach me, and then we can discuss, and I can help the person, guide the person through. Because part of being a project management person is to guide and aid people to make decisions. Then I can help you make the right choices, but I cannot give a generic answer to that.
So we have some pictures displayed on the screen right now. Are these your projects?
Yes, these are projects we did just last year.
Wow.
These are projects, a couple of them.
How much does this particular building? Okay, this is so nice. How much is this? I want to build some, so give me an estimate.
Well,
I have to sell my kidney.
No, not necessarily. Like I was telling you earlier, building the core and shell structure, it's quick. Okay, but now when we are done, what makes the house beautiful, the finishing, is what brings the complexity. So often as a builder, when people ask me, oh, give me an estimate, I tell them, relax, what do you want to do? But I can easily tell you, oh, it will cost you 500,000. But what happens is, when we start off, by the time you realize you'll be paying more because we didn't budget for certain things. So I like us to discuss it, know exactly what you want to do. Then we can work around it. Yes.
Okay, so let's look at some of the challenges, rapid urbanization.
A couple of them, I don't know if they've showed.
Please, let's have the pictures, all the pictures displayed whilst talking, so that people can see what he's good at.
So this is the recent project that we are on. We are starting in February. We are starting the construction in February. This is an apartment complex where you have single room self-contained to the left, and then chamber and halls to the right. Yes. So I think it's about an 18-unit building.
Wow. Interesting. It looks like most of our buildings are now looking at this type of structure.
Yes, because you have to maximize the land. We are maximizing land now because, like I said, land scarcity. So gone are the days where you have one plot of land and you want to build 4-bedroom on it, you have wasted the land. Why not go up? And then you can make some money from it. And one thing I like to do, we're asking a question about young people. I tell people, when you are young, probably from 30 to 20 to 40, forget about dream house. Focus on building something that will bring you revenue. So at least do an apartment complex, chamber and hall, maybe 2 floors, or even just ground floor, first floor, and let it bring you some revenue. It's better than to go and push all your funds into building a 6-bedroom house and it's there doing nothing. Your money is gone, because actually when you are building, money goes and doesn't come. So then why not push yourself and build an apartment complex and let it bring you revenue? Yes.
So between the ages of 20 to 40, somebody can build such a house?
Yes, you can.
In Ghana?
Yes.
20 to 40?
Yes, you can. Very possible.
Wow.
It's a matter of planning. That's why I said when the person communicates, we go about it. For example, I always say those who work in the government sector, if I was working in the government sector, this is one thing I'll be looking at. Take a loan and then you create a side business that will be handling your personal needs. And then you take a loan so that with the loan, you build. Then what you do is, for example, you build the ground floor. You are thinking of an apartment complex. Build the ground floor. When you have built the ground floor, start renting it because it's on high demand.
Yeah.
Start renting it and let the building start paying for itself. So the loan that you took from the bank, the building can start paying for itself. By the time you are done with the ground floor, by the time you hit the first floor with the loan, you would have cleared it. And so people sit in government feel, oh, there is not much money in the government sector. Yes, there is not. Depends on where you are though. But then there are many advantages in the government sector. And one of them is good loans because there's good debt and bad debt. But loans can be a good debt if you know how to use it. Yes.
I see. So let's practicalize what we are talking about. Yes. So as a young person, let's say I'm 30 years, I want to start building. How much should I have to just start, just to start? There's this quote that says, start with what you have and where you are. So how much should I have to start my building?
Right. You are right. But like I was saying, we would have to discuss what exactly you want to do. You want to build a duplex? Do you want to build a 2-bedroom? It depends. You see, because different buildings have different foundation depths. Okay? So now the 2-bedroom, which area? That also comes in. Because we are moving material. So it's a proper discussion. Then it will help you plan properly for it.
So we have a question from, my producers, and they're asking how much this particular building costs. I don't know why they are asking.
Everybody's so interested in this building. Like I said, it all depends.
You would have to see him,
It's not that I don't want to mention, but two things can happen. You can discourage somebody who actually has the capacity to build this, and they may think they can't, because this client had specifics to what they wanted. See, like these glass things you see, all of that, it can all be refashioned to give you something else and still give you the same building at a good price. So I don't like to discourage people. That's why I don't like to mention prices.
We don't want to discourage you. And so just call him after the conversation and then he will answer all your questions.
And you may be surprised that the money you have there can build it. Yes.
My 1,000 cedis can start something, right?
The 1,000 cedis you can save with it and then grow it. So you can invest that money and grow it such that you can now get a plot and pick up from there.
We have another question here. And it says, many young Ghanaians are working but still can't afford decent housing. Beyond policy direction, what real affordable housing solutions currently exist for the youth?
So the government has put a lot of structures. I think they invested about $5 billion towards this whole matter of housing thing. But I gave one example earlier on, for example, if you work in the government sector, strategize around your salary, get a side gig that can give you your revenue sources for personal living, and then take advantage of the loan structures so that you can build. And then again, many people want to think of building in the center of Accra. For example, the Central Business District, average turnover of rent there is 20% increase annually. In rent. So look at areas beyond the business district. Go towards Kaswa, Millennium City, go towards OEB. That side. Most people don't like that.
But you mentioned that earlier. You mentioned that you can start building, and when you get to a point, you rent it out.
Yes.
So assuming I start building in Nsawam, how am I going to rent it out? Because how many people?
You'll be shocked. You'll be saying, now let's come to the factors that really drive urbanization. You see jobs, hospitals, services, schools. So in Nsawam, there are a lot of companies now, Blue Skies, all of those guys have actually moved there. So there's a lot. You'll be shocked the amount of drive there. Recently, I went to look at a project at Ajingotoku on that stretch. And the amount of migration towards that place, you'll be shocked. So the thing about real estate is never underestimate any place. I made a mistake many years ago, about 10 years ago. I was living in Kumasi then. That's 13 years ago. Somebody gave me a land around Ejiso. There's this hotel close to the roadside. Gave me a land behind there. As at that time, he was giving it to me for 3,000 Ghana cedis then. 13 years ago. I said, oh, I have a plan, I have what to do, blah, 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 blah. Today, you cannot buy land in that place. And today, as we speak, even rent in that place is super expensive. So I would encourage the young people, don't look, I know we all have big dreams, but don't look in the central district. Go to the peripheries and then get a land there and start building from there.
Okay. So as a project manager, what role, do professionals like you play in ensuring sustainable urban development?
Oh, well, so just as the name goes, we ensure that projects are within timeline, within the budgetary allocation, and then we are focused on trying to ensure that we do what we do without a lot of negative environmental impact. So that's a broad spectrum, green housing, all those factors. So a project manager's job is vast in the aspect of urban planning. It's so vast, we cannot exhaust that.
Okay, let's just end with this one question. What one policy or mindset shift do you think Ghana needs to better manage urbanization and housing demands?
Okay, so a mindset shift I believe we need is to understand that it's possible. It's possible. Many young people are discouraged. I don't do into technicals. Let me stay on something practical. Many young people are discouraged when they see the huge prices out there. But it is possible to do it. The only way is to talk to a professional so that you get an understanding and you can build from there. If you don't do that, you look at the thing and it looks very hazy to you, but it's not that complex. Yes, it's not.
So speaking, about talking to a professional, would like to call you. So please put out your contact details, social media handles.
All right. So 055 3166 494. 055 3166 494. That is the major call line that you can get me on. And it's also on WhatsApp, so you can get me on that. And then when it comes to social media handles, on Facebook, Joseph Odro Ofori is what you will find. On TikTok, you meet me as OJ Ofori. Yes, so those are the two main places.
OJ Ofori is a project manager, independent development consultant, author, founder of KYO Consult Limited. He was our guest for today on the lifestyle segment as we discussed urbanization and property demand in Ghana. I hope you have learned something for yourself. If you're a young person, or not even young, anybody at all who is thinking of getting into real estate or building something for yourself, please do follow him or contact him. He will help you out with every question you have. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Let's do some sports right after this. Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. We are live on Clock TV. We are streaming live on Facebook and also YouTube as well. Now let's do something exciting, and I'm talking about sports with Benedict Nketiah-Kwarteng. And today he's bleeding. He's in black. So he's going to tell us why he's in black. Benedict.
Hello, baby.
But I heard you've been explaining yourself. Why? What happened?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
What happened to Bassa?
Oh, okay. First of all, let me say good morning to our viewers out there. And thank you for being with us. As usual, this is the best sports update you can find out there. So, yes, Bassa, we decided to, experience...
decided?
What it feels to lose a game. Because we've been winning for 11... We've won 11 games in a row. We were beginning to feel pompous. So we wanted to experience what it feels like to lose a game. So on Sunday against Real Society, I decided to just give them the points because they needed it most. They needed it more than we do. So that was what happened. That's the reason why I'm wearing black, actually.
Oh, okay.
I decided to I think the guest before myself was in black. Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's more like, it's a trend for today.
I see.
So, yes.
Take us away, Benedict.
Yes, thank you very much, Mimi. Thank you for holding the fort. So let me start over from our first story for the day. So we have the top Ghanaian referee, Daniel Lai. He receives rousing welcome on return from AFCON 2025. So yes, during the just ended AFCON competition that happened in Morocco, we had one of our very own, Daniel Lai, as one of the officiating members, so one of the center referees for the CAF competition or the AFCON in Morocco. Today, after he officiated one of the most anticipated games during the competition, that is Nigeria versus Morocco, where Nigeria lost to Morocco. But then, of course, we saw his performance and we were quite impressed with his performance. And we are all proud of him as a country, as a nation, because he's one of the pillars out there representing the country. So yes, he came back home on Saturday, and then at the Kotoka International Airport, yes, he received a very warm welcome where we had people meeting him with gifts. There was even a portrait of him, yes, of this picture that is being shown on our screen. There was a portrait of him that someone drew him, hand drawn with a pencil. And yes, it was given to him. We had people, kids dressed in kente and in our traditional wares, receiving him and all that. And of course, his family was there to welcome him. So yes, we are proud of him. We are proud of you, Daniel Lai, for your prowess and the things you did during this competition. You were outstanding, and want to say we thank you for raising the flag of Ghana high out there, and of course representing the country. So he earned his FIFA badge where he started refereeing when he was 17 years. So he started officiating when he was 17 years in Ghana's lower division leagues, and then his first officiating game in the Ghana Premier League was between Mediama SC and then Berekum Chelsea FC, and then he moved on to competition, that is the 2018 CHAN tournament in Morocco, 2020 CHAN competition in Cameroon, and of course 2021 African Cup of Nations that was also competed in Cameroon, and then the last officiating competition, it was in Morocco, that just ended. So yes, that was it for Daniel Lai. Let me move on to another story of today. So we have the GBF NSA leadership hold talks on amateur boxing development. So Clock Sports, or the sports update segment, we don't just focus on football, but anything that has to do with sports. So we dive straight into the world of boxing, where the GBF, the Ghana Boxing Federation, and then the Ghana Sports Authority, the leadership between these two organizations held talks on amateur boxing. And so there's been conversations about improving the boxing federation in Ghana, and then of course making it memorable and making it a household competition where people will be willing to invest in it, be willing to watch, willing to sit down and then enjoy the boxing of our country. Ghana, especially in Accra here, we have a lot of boxers that are around. When you go to Bukom, we have a boxing arena in Bukom where most of the youths out there engage in boxing. So yes, we have the potential, we have the men, we have people who are really interested in the sports boxing. So yes, this talks is to help improve or develop boxing, the amateur boxing in the country. And then let me move on to one of the trending stories that is happening around the world. In Africa, predominantly in Africa and the world. So they just ended 2025 AFCON competition. We saw, there was a third and fourth place that was played called upon his boys to go into the dressing room. They were not going to continue with the game anymore.
Hey.
Yeah, that was because of a controversial penalty that was awarded to the Moroccans, and then the Senegalese team felt like they are being, cheated. Yes, of course. And so that is the coach on our screen. He called upon his boys to go into the dressing room. We will not continue the game anymore. But then the leadership of Sadio Mane had a few discussions with the officiating members and then the team members, and then he called upon his boys to come back. He said a lot of things in French, and then those of us who can speak French, he was saying that we are men. Let's come to this field. Let us finish the game as men.
Yeah.
Let us finish the game as men would do.
Yeah.
We don't, because of this penalty, we don't have to go into the dressing room. And then he was very right, because it's a penalty. Anything can happen. And of course, the keeper was able to catch the ball.
Okay.
Imagine they had forfeited the game.
Yeah.
This would have been one of the most controversial games in African football.
Yeah.
So aside it's tarnishing Senegalese and the Moroccans' image, it's also tarnishing the image of African football.
They wouldn't have even won the AFCON.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Morocco would have just taken the trophy, even though it's under controversy. They would have still won. But the leadership of Mane and the wisdom of Mane actually saved the whole scenario. They came back, they played a penalty, they couldn't score, and then they went on to extra time and they were able to come out victorious. So yes, kudos to Mane, and then kudos to his team, kudos to the coach, and then of course congratulations to Senegal for winning the AFCON competition for 2025-2026 that was held in Morocco. And
I actually have a prophetic word with regards to this whole win. You see, Ghana and Senegal, we have something in common. Our flags.
Our flags, okay.
They look very similar. And so, since Senegal has won the AFCON, Ghana, we are also going to win the World Cup. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. but you see, the thing about football is not just about prophetics. It's sometimes to your tactics and all that. Watching this AFCON has taught us a lot. And I hope Coach Otuado and then his coaching team, coaching management are actually watching, because most of the games that were played were very tactical. There was no emotional games. There was no, this player is a senior man, this is older. No, when you watch the Senegalese team, the players that were on the bench, we were discussing it yesterday, and someone said they had the luxury. It's like you driving Lamborghini and still having Rolls Royce at home. That was the Senegalese team. The players that were on the bench were as good, were equally good. They were equally on the same level
but wait,
as the players.
with other teams, the players on the bench, they are not as good as those on the field.
They are. I mean, they were equally
but Ghana, we
better.
also do that. We have the best
No,
reserve.
the problem with Ghanaian football, Black Stars.
Okay, so Benedict, I think we'll have to, leave that to the sports team so that you do that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Benedict Ngitia-Kwarteng, for taking us into the world of sports. Up next is business with Clement and his guest. Please stay with us.
Good morning, welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now, onto our stories. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has announced that it will take action against commercial drivers who overcharge passengers during peak hours as worsening traffic congestion and a shortage of vehicles continue to trouble commuters in Accra.
The exercise began on Monday, January 19, 2026. With union officials deployed to key hotspots where drivers were reported to be exploiting passengers. This decision follows increasing public complaints about unjustified fare hikes, especially during busy periods, driven by heavy traffic and the limited availability of commercial vehicles in the capital.
Away from that, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, has called on National Petroleum Authority, NPA, to scrap the price floors outlined in 2024 petroleum product price and guidelines. According to COPEC, the policy which stops petroleum service providers from selling fuel below a regulated set minimum price is outdated and works against the principles of a fully deregulated downstream petroleum market.
Under the current arrangement, the NPA announces price floors for deregulated petroleum products at the beginning of each pricing window, and PSPs are required to comply. Any operator found selling below the approved minimum risks a fine of up to 5,000 Ghana cedis. Industry players have long criticized the policy, arguing that it suppresses competition and denies consumers the benefit of lower fuel prices. Under the current arrangement.
On this very story, we'll be speaking with the head of research from COPEC, that's the person of Mr. Paul Ofori, for us to know why COPEC is calling for the removal or scrapping of the price floor in petroleum products, that is to NPA. Good morning, Mr. Paul Ofori.
Yes, good morning.
Please, I believe you are doing wonderful.
I'm okay, and you?
We thank God. We are so blessed. And thank you for having you on this morning. Please, I'm going straight to the story. There have been a discussion over some few days on the price floor, of which we've heard some oil marketing companies calling for its removal. And COPEC also came into the same course, proposing the removal of this price floor. We would like to understand what at all is this price floor that COPEC is talking about.
Well, once again, good morning to you and to your viewers. Yes, so price floor. We started engagement on the price floor somewhere the last quarter of 2023. Okay. And then the first quarter of 2024, the policy came into force. What it says is that there have been instances where some oil marketing companies, at the beginning of a window, will bring out a price. Then just about 2 or 3 days later, the price changes. And there was a bit of discomfort among the various OMCs, complaints here and there because it was not helping competition. And so the NPA decided to set up a task force and, if you like, more or less a committee of some sort. And the committee recommended that a price floor policy be implemented. We had our misgivings with the policy because, fair enough, yes, we wanted to tone down the excesses with some of the oil marketing companies in terms of their prices. In fact, it was becoming a nuisance, if I should say, that on a daily basis you have new prices, not giving room for the consumer to plan. And so it became a bit of a challenge. So we understood from that angle. Our proposition at the time was that, look, if you are having a floor price, then necessarily you should also have a ceiling. Where you have a floor price without a corresponding ceiling, then you give room for the oil marketing companies, as it were, to overprice their wares or their products. That will not inure to the benefit of the consumer. And that was our angle of argument. By and large, the policy was implemented. Let's go back to NPA and then ask, really, what has been the achievement with the implementation of the floor price? There have been instances where bulk distribution companies will import the product in country And when they come, because they also want to get rid of the product from their tanks, sometimes they discount. And by way of discounting, it means that oil marketing companies will get the product cheaper. Okay. When they get it cheaper, definitely they will have to pass the gains to the consumer. Yeah. But because there's a certain floor price, they are unable to pass these gains to the consumer. And that has been our challenge all along. Look, there have been instances on the international market where you have prices being favorable. Now, the moment the product is imported, mind you, your CD is still doing well. Okay, when the product is imported, bulk distribution companies will want to get their money for their suppliers and whatnot. Okay. So in such instances, they just want to offload and get rid of whatever is in their tanks so that they can bring in the favorable product, on the international market to store. Okay. So our line of argument is that there are various instances, even when some oil marketing companies have had to price below the price floor. Okay, so it's not as though we are at war with the NPA, no, but then we disagree with the continuous implementation of a policy that really is not inuring to the benefit of the consumer. I mean, the ultimate goal here is to protect the consumer. That was even the essence of the implementation of the deregulation policy. Okay. Again, for purposes of our viewers, perhaps let me also explain the deregulation a little bit. Now, the deregulation here started somewhere 2015, I think July 2015. Okay. Now, the purpose of that was for government to wean itself off the pricing of petroleum products in the country. And so government did that. It took itself off, and then it allowed the players to dictate the pay. In other words, oil marketing companies now have the luxury to price their products without government involvement. However, you have a regulator being there, making sure that the policy as is being implemented is respected. Okay. So then the NPA became more or less a referee, being on the sidelines, watching to make sure everyone is following the rules. And that has been the case until it decided to implement the price floor. Okay. Our challenge with it is that, look, we are in a deregulated market, a market that should not have any involvement of price control whatsoever. So where you have some sort of a price control, then it is as though we are still in a regulated market. Then really, are we implementing a deregulation policy? But, so that has been our line of argument, from the get-go, and we feel that the time is right for us to take a second look at the implementation of the price floor and see the weaknesses, see how best we can find alternatives in making sure the consumer is not only protected, but is given the fair share of whatever oil marketing companies bring up. Okay,
thank you very much for such input. But the NP also argues that this very price floor is there to prevent exorbitant prices by OMCs and other people against petroleum products. What do you have to say on that?
Brother, I'm still wondering what they mean by exorbitant prices. We are in this country. We know how the pricing regimes works. If oil marketing companies are like bulk distribution companies are picking the product from refineries in country, we know that there is a price they pay when they go to pick the product either from Central or from Tor, Akwaaba or Platoon. Okay, these are oil refineries in Ghana, Platoon, Akwaaba, Central, and then Tor. That's the oil refinery. Now, when they go, they are giving what is called the ex-refinery price. So all they do is to add the cost of picking the product from Tor, that is haulage, insurance, and whatnot, and then a little bit of margins. Then they pass the product to oil marketing companies, that is the OMCs. Okay. All the OMCs do, after getting the product from the bulk distribution companies, which becomes the ex-depot price, all they do is to add what is called the statutory margins or levies and taxes to it. So the petrol price is 4 cedis. The taxes on petrol is 4 cedis 27 pesos, and that of diesel is 4 cedis 25 pesos. And then you have LPG doing some 2 cedis and 11 pesos. Okay. All they do is just to add these taxes and levies, and then a little bit of their margins. Then we get what is called the export price, the price you see when you go to any of the fuel stations to fill. Okay. So we know how these things work. There is no way, and I repeat, there is no way an oil marketing company can charge an exorbitant price where we all know the prevailing prices on the market.
Okay.
So it's next to impossible for the consumer to cheat. However, our admonition was that to the extent that you have decided to introduce a price floor, then there should be a corresponding ceiling to cut off so that you cannot price above that ceiling. And then when you have the price floor also being there, you cannot price below that ceiling. That has been our argument.
Okay.
And so ours is that the consumer at the end of the day has to be protected, and they have to enjoy every single benefit of whatever fluctuation is happening on the international market, whatever appreciation of the cedi, and all the gains there is as far as the downstream petroleum sector is concerned.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that. What alternative measures would you recommend to protect consumers without restricting price competition?
So our argument is that the price floor must go.
Okay.
Let the oil marketing companies compete fairly. You, as the regulator, must be on the sideline to make sure that we are respecting the deregulation policy. That's as far as it goes. But allow the competition to go on. Let the consumer reap the full benefits that they are supposed to benefit out of the deregulation. Okay? Government has taken its hands off with the pricing of petroleum products. So it means we have left the pricing of the product to the oil marketing companies. And so if you are an oil marketing company and you want to price your product above a certain margin, that should be your own cup of tea. But if we want fair competition, we want to create a niche, drive consumers to our station, then we all know the obvious answer is to make sure that as much as possible, sometimes in most cases, you have to even shed off your margins, if you like your profit, just so you can retain your customer base and then also get as many as possible to patronize your station. These are the things we should begin doing to making sure that there's a fair playing ground where oil marketing companies can price their product and the consumer can be the ultimate beneficiary.
Okay, so before you go, there is another argument out there that when this price floor is being removed, it's going to bring a lot of competition in the market, as you are talking about. And when this happens, some oil marketing companies might not be able to stand because the bigger ones will end up charging very less for their products, and the small ones will not be able to stand, which, if care is not taken, might lead to a monopoly market in some few years to come in the country. How do you see this argument? Is it feasible?
I think it is only fair and proper that we situate the issues in proper perspective. Let's call a spade a spade. Now, who issued the licenses to these smaller OMCs you are talking of? Okay, how long have they been in operation? So these are important questions the regulator must answer. Now, you issued out licenses to people, or if you like, oil marketing companies with just about 5 stations, 4 stations, 7 stations, and that was it. How about these people with their investments joining hands with other oil marketing companies? A country as small as Ghana with just about 31 million, we have in excess of over 200 oil marketing companies. 200. Let's go to the bigger economies. Okay, you find a maximum of 10, 50 with even bigger economies. Then you come to Ghana with just about 31, 32 million. You have over 200 oil marketing companies doing what really? Okay, so nobody is saying that when you have the capital, you shouldn't venture into the business. Not at all. But to the extent that the playing field is neutral, to the extent that you do not have unnecessary pressure being put on any oil marketing companies, I believe it is all fair and proper if we allow the players to do as we have decided to do in terms of our deregulation. It's just a deregulation policy we are enforcing. We want to be respected. And that's as far as our argument goes. We do not want a situation whereby, even though we are practicing a deregulated market, you have some form of a control somewhere. No. Allow them to evolve. Allow oil marketing companies to price their products and let the competition be as fair as it could be.
Thank you very much, sir. Before you go, now COPEC is calling for the removal of this price floor. What is the expected result that consumers are going to get if this price floor should go immediately?
Well, we believe that whatever gains happens on the international market, that gain will be passed on to the consumer. We as consumer advocates will always continuously fight and make sure that what is due the consumer is given to them. Okay. And so we also come up with bi-weekly projections, making sure that whatever prices oil marketing companies come up with falls in line with international standards and it also follows current trends on the international market. So yes, again, the ultimate beneficiary will be the consumer. And so definitely the gains being made from both the appreciation of our currency and the declining prices of petroleum products on the international market will definitely be passed on to the consumer.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Lastly, before you go, your final words to our viewers.
Sorry, I missed that.
Before you go, your final words to viewers and also to NPA.
Okay, so my part will go to consumers in a time when we want to make sure that we are reaping the best out of oil marketing companies. When we go to fill our tanks, I will advise that we go, especially at dawn or at night, to buy fuel. When you go to buy fuel in the day, because we are dealing with volumes, the temperature during the day changes. And because of the heat, the consumer will not really get the full benefit in terms of quantity. So value for money will be missed when we go, especially in the afternoons, to buy fuel. So our advice is that consumers go to the pumps, especially early in the morning, or at dawn or later at night to fuel up. That way you get the actual volumes that you are looking for in terms of value for money, my brother.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paul Ofori, the head of research for COPEC, and we are so grateful for your time, sir. At least if you didn't get anything, he said that when you are going to buy fuel, either go later in the day or early morning or at dawn, because at that point in time you get value for money for whatever you are purchasing from that oil marketing company. And this has been a discussion on the proposal from the COPEC to NPA regarding price floor discussion, which has taken place over the weekend and some few days too. And that's all we have for you on the business update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. Once again, let me thank you for staying with us. This is the last segment of the show, and so you'd have to stay with us because this is where we bring the conversations to light. Every single thing that has been trending in Ghana, we are going to be talking about that with regards to governance. And so we invite you to engage us with your comments via our streaming platforms, Facebook and also YouTube, and also on our WhatsApp number, which will be displayed on the screen as well. Intermittently, I think the phone lines will also be open, and so you can call us and share your thoughts with us. I'm joined by Clement Yabankwe and also Peter Insia. They are my panel members for today. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Mimi.
My gentlemen in suit. Clement, you missed the first session of the show when we started. We're talking about transportation crisis in Ghana, especially in Accra. And we're looking at the agenda that has been set by the media, pushing, this particular problem so that government intervenes. And solutions were brought on board. Peter mentioned, we're looking at alternatives like the railways, GPRTU are also doing their best. More buses are coming into the system by government and all that. What's your take on that? Briefly.
Yes, briefly. Let me say that it's a good thing happening. It's making us know the loopholes in our system as a country. And it's kind of every year something pops up. And this year is transportation. And I believe government would need to step up his game. In as much as over 300 buses are coming in, the question is, are they going to be on the same road or are going to have expanded roads? That's my first question. Okay. The reason being that already there is traffic situation in Accra. You can be in a car for more than 2 hours, 3 hours. And when you listen to drivers, these are some of the reasons they give for charging more than what they used to charge. Oh, okay. So if you're having 300 buses coming in, it's going to adapt to the traffic situation that we have in the country.
And also, I don't want to catch you, but if I leave you, you're going to keep talking and talking and talking. So let me just be putting in my questions. Okay. A lot of people are saying there has been an artificial shortage of buses. And so, drivers are keeping their buses in their homes because what do you also have to say about that?
Yes, that one is true. But you see, from my point of view, I don't see it to be artificial shortage of buses. The people or passengers are now increasing. But the number of cars are not increasing. That is the basis. Because let's imagine the number of service personnel who have been out for service this year. Over 1,000 plus, 6,000 plus. Ask yourself how many vehicles has been added. So that is the angle we should look at. It's demand and supply. Now, demand for vehicles is increasing. So the supply needs to be more. This is not the first time we are experiencing this. So the alternative, as Peter mentioned, railway, for me, I think that's the way to go.
What about SkyTrain?
Yes, it's another opportunity to go. But you see, we previous administration started something like that, and we know what came up, and we believe that it will be resolved as soon as possible. But our railway system is dying, so it is something that needs to be waked up. And in as much as buses are coming from the government, GPRTU should also bring in more buses. It's because demand and supply. We have more people out there looking for vehicles, but their cars are not there.
Peter, do you have something to add?
Yes. So, Clement has actually made a valid point, but the artificial aspect of it still stands valid because when you go to the various stations, the cars that we normally see, those cars are no more there. So where are those cars?
In their houses.
Yes.
Okay, so Clement, you spoke with a resource person earlier, and I'm just interested. I want to know, I know our viewers also want to know, is about how the fuel prices, the reduction in fuel prices are going to translate in our fares. Is that possible? Because we are not seeing any reduction in our fares, yet fuel prices keep reducing per litre.
Yeah, so Mimi, when you listen to COPEC, their point of view is, COPEC is the Chamber for Petroleum Consumers, so that's what they do. Their point of view is that we have what we call price floor in petroleum pricing. So they are saying that that price floor should go off. Currently, the price floor is 9 Ghana cedis, 80 pesos. So you can't charge below that amount. So the highest you can charge, or what you can charge is 9 Ghana cedis, 80 pesos. But some oil marketing companies are saying, no, we are in a situation where we can charge below that because petrol prices has fallen at the world market. Ghana cedis is depreciating, appreciating. Sorry, inflation is, everything is now showing good. So why don't we reduce it further so that ordinary Ghanaian can really benefit? So that is the argument, and we are hoping that NPA would respond to that. But on a point of seeing it reflecting in the life of ordinary Ghanaian is another angle, because who is responsible to do this is the drivers, and the drivers are even giving prices of fuel dropping, now they are charging more. So the argument is like, maybe we seem not to understand. They are saying that spare parts prices is still high. They are saying that insurance prices are going up. They are saying that lubricant prices has not gone down. So in as much as a component of their input is down, doesn't mean that automatically everything around them is supposed to go down.
There's also this conversation out there. I'm just engaging the two of you that, it is not government that is necessarily controlling the price of fuel. It is at the world market. And so the way we are all, saying government resetting agenda, they are the ones reducing the prices of fuel. It is not that case. That is why we are still having high prices with transport fares, spare parts and other things, because these things can be controlled by the government. But fuel and those kind of, oil, they can't be controlled by government. Is that true?
Okay, Peter, you want to come? So let me come and say something still on it. From the argument out there, people are saying it's never true. Why is it not true? Because government has a critical role to play in the indicators we are talking about. If Ghana cedi is not appreciating, if proper things are not put in place and it's not appreciated, we are buying fuel from the world market. So what happens if dollar rate is very high? Meaning that the cost of fuel is going to be high. And when cost of fuel is high, it's going to affect the market that we have as a country. When the world market fuel drops there, it means that, yes, automatically we are supposed to enjoy. What happens when the fuel comes into the country and tax element alone is very high? And when you listen to the resource person, he said we have tax elements in fuel, in fuel that we buy. So if government does not regulate all these kind of things, trust me, we will buy fuel at more higher prices than we used to see.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, Peter.
With that, yes, like Clement said, government plays a critical role. Let's narrow it down to what we are seeing. Prices at the pumps are low. What do we have to do? If prices of petrol comes down, it automatically translates into the prices of goods and
services,
other services as well. And so it is obvious. So what we have to do is to just be law-abiding citizens, especially the drivers. And then in terms of NPA and then the competition is very key. It's very good, a healthy competition as such. Within the week, I read in the news that some, fuel stations are even giving breakfast in order to get more customers. So competition is a very key, and so that is where the marketing aspect comes in. You have to sit down, know how to get consumers to for yourself, and I mean it's a good thing.
Right. Thank you so much. That was just for starters. Now let's get straight into our conversations. Yesterday, on social media, I saw a video. It happened in Nigeria where some people were standing under over a bridge or something where a tanker had crashed. A tanker carrying fuel had crashed and the fuel was pouring, and then you could see that people were there with their gallons, buckets, and then they were fetching the fuel. Producer, do you have the video? Can we have a look at it? And you could tell that people were eager to fill their buckets, gallons and all that. And I've been thinking about this. Even when we start talking about this, people would say, oh, they are poor. poverty is the root cause. But you see, this is not poverty. This is a mindset challenge. Because this is fuel we are talking about. You are risking your life. This happened in Nigeria, but it has happened in Ghana several times, where some people even lost their lives. Clement, Peter, what lessons can we, garner from this particular video? Because it's really concerning. I mean, a lot of people have seen this, and if we don't talk against it and it happens again in Ghana, people would go there with their buckets, gallons to fetch the fuel. Who are you even going to sell the fuel to? What are you going to use the fuel for?
How much, let me put it there, how much can you even gather? So with this one, see, sometimes things like this, when the unfortunate happens, we tend to blame government. We tend to blame road safety, fire service and all that. This one, look, you don't need somebody to tell you, this is a death trap.
Yeah.
But they are still there. And this is serious. So we will talk about education. We educate the people. But after the education, it's like a teacher spending the whole time using all skills to teach your people. And at the end of the day, you give them exams and they fail. This, you can't beat them. So, I mean, this is sad.
Okay, Mimi, I just want to say this.
Okay.
Let me pick it from a different angle.
Okay.
Our tanker cars, at the back of it, you see a writing there. Those days was highly inflammable, and it came up in the news that who actually brought that thing, highly inflammable.
My grandfather would say highly inflammable.
But you see, we've been taught that fuel can easily catch fire.
Yeah.
So it's highly flammable. It can easily catch fire.
Yeah.
And the last time I was saying that I've had the opportunity to be at fuel station.
Yeah.
And when even fuel starts leaking, we stop work.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the product you are dealing with.
Yeah.
How much more seeing a fuel tanker like this and it's pouring, but people are eager to collect the fuel.
Yeah.
So the question is, why would such an incident happen, and why would an individual even risk his life to this extent?
Yeah.
Does it mean that getting access to the fuel in that very country is difficult? Does it mean that the price is very high?
Yeah.
Does it mean that there are so many things we need to look out for? But aside all these kind of points that people might have as their justification, it's not enough to risk your life. Because in as much as you all are gathered there, you might have an odd one who would come there with either a lighter.
Oh, let me try it and see what will happen.
Exactly.
I have this brother who likes to do try and error. When he was growing up, he likes to destroy things and then fix it. So there are people like that. Let me try and light up something and see what will happen.
So what we are trying to tell viewers is that whenever incidents like this happen,
Run for your life.
Run for your life. Because the issue is the tanker itself can catch fire.
Yeah.
Because it's just a spark.
Yeah.
And everything you die, you lose your life.
So you even ask yourself, where are the drivers, the operators of that tanker? They are not even around.
They've run away.
So like Clement says, when a situation like this happens, reach out to the appropriate authorities, call help, so that they will come and salvage the situation. Other than that.
Well, that's just by the way. Let's move to our next conversation as the Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, NAB's notorious female drug campaign in Budumbram operation. This happened in Budumbram, and they are saying a female drug campaign has been arrested. Now, when I followed the story and other stories, I have come to the realization that Ghana as a country, we like to celebrate the arrests rather than, what we do to who is being arrested. Oh, we've arrested 5 people, we've arrested 20 people here. That kind of, yes, they are working. But what happens after the arrest? Because the arrest will clearly make headlines. People would know that, our security services are working and all that. But the bigger question is, how are these, drug traffickers getting into our communities? Because we are not just looking at the individual, we are looking at how it's going to affect the people around such a person. So that is what we have in the news today. So that's what we are seeing on our screens. The lady has been arrested, and this is a lady, a female. What a man can do, a woman can do better.
And so this situation, like I've been saying, we always, like you said, talk about the arrest and that's all, leaving the root causes.
Yeah.
Now, the question that you asked, so where do these, drugs, where do they pass? Whilst we have people manning our borders and all of that. Now, when these drugs get into our community, the sustainability comes in.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain things that we don't look at. Now, in the morning, we were talking about prostitutes and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, the activities of these prostitutes work with criminals. And this is how they operate. And so they are there, wealthy people goes to them, as usual, they are bargaining. You go pick somebody you don't know, you take the person to a hotel, and that's where you make your calls.
Yeah.
Secretive calls, confidential calls. At the end of the day, these prostitutes, they pick the information, give it to robbers, blackmailers, and what have you. That is where all these activities start.
Yeah.
And these prostitutes also tend to be distributors of these illicit drugs.
Yeah.
Because they say they are prostitutes, people don't talk about them. They are just there.
No suspicions are raised about them.
You understand?
Yeah.
And we only care about the young guy who has dreadlocks with some lies, and then we suspect them. Meanwhile, innocent, look, a woman, 35-year-old. And the report also indicate that she's known for it. She's a notorious illicit drug. So what we can do as a country right now is we have to come together as a community. NACO cannot do it alone. The police service cannot do it alone. But we should be, I would like to say something the ex-president said, we should be citizens, not spectators. If you see something, talk. Let's help the security service. To combat these. Because when you go to the various communities, and then history even has it that these drug leaders are situated in vulnerable communities. So vulnerable communities where young people do not have jobs, there are no proper health care, people don't go to school, and then these people are coerced into selling these drugs and what's
But Peter, you see, there have been concerns of fear of retaliation in our communities. I know certain communities that you cannot report a notorious drug, dealer or a thief or a criminal, even though you are not like that, but you are scared for your life because there is a lack of protection from our institutions. And so these informants and all those people, they are scared to report, these people. You can be even in Accra, when you're in Accra, and then someone wants to pickpocket you. The people around know who is doing that, but they can't talk, they can't report the person. So Peter is saying that we should come together as a community, and what is the assurance that if I report somebody, I will be safe? My life will not be at risk. Recently, a video surfaced the internet of a young man who physically abused a lady with his slippers or something, and someone took a video of that. The gentleman came out and tweeted that, so and so, if something happens to me, you are the cause. That was what the gentleman said to the lady who videoed that thing, and then he got arrested. So do you get it? There is this fear of retaliation that, hey,
so there should be, currently, I think we have
protection.
Protection for
people like that.
And then you should know how you communicate such information to the security. I think there are phone lines that you can reach out, informants and all that.
You should be careful with that.
And then that even reminds me of what the current Chief Justice said when he was when he met the appointment committee, where he said that he had to, imprison this notorious for 70 years because he feared his...
So is it something that is there?
But
Clement, am I lying?
Amy, it's true.
It is something that is
true.
there.
But you see, earlier in your submission, you were talking about the fact that arresting alone is not what we need because it will only make the headlines. But what would really solve the problem is the measures we put in place, the preventive measures. And this is not the first time, and this will not be the last time of we hearing NACO taking such steps to arrest notorious drug dealers. this time around is Bujumbura. And when you look at this very story, I mean, to tell you that even the opinion leaders in the community sometimes wish such person is being arrested. And the story also will tell you that it was an intelligent lead, meaning that there was someone in the community who alerted the police or the narco official that this person is into this and that and that. So it needs to be arrested. What am I trying? The point I'm trying to make here is one. You could say there is collaboration.
Yeah.
The whoever blew the whistle, the community leaders, the police, and the narco.
Yeah.
They've built that kind of system. That is the reason why there could be that kind of communication. So if we just arrest without going down there to make sure that the root cause is being removed, as Peter mentioned, then it means that we will have this same incident happening in Bujumbura again. Because Bujumbura has known to be a place of refugees over the past years.
Yeah.
So the settlement is a kind of informal settlement. So you could see a lot of people in such kind in these places. So what is the way to go? The way to go is that we need to have a community where people will be so free to be able to reach out to the police. That this person is doing this person is doing that. So I would like the police to come in. Aside policing, what can we do as a community or as a country? Should you always wait for the police to come before arrest is being made? No. At least let us educate people. Let us make them understand why they are not supposed to engage in this drug addiction. Why they are not supposed to do what they are doing. Mimi, it will surprise you to know. I have had the opportunity to speak to some people who are really like in that situation. They will tell you that it is not their wish for them to be taking what they are taking, but circumstances around them is making them do what they do. It's not just because they want to do it. It's because circumstances. Some people have been through some kind of pain, and all what they needed is someone to be there for them, to tell them that everything will be fine. But in that instance, they will not have anybody. So the only thing they end up doing is to find themselves taking in these drugs. Because whenever you ask them, they'll tell you that when I take the drugs, I'm able to do whatever I'm able to do, and I feel so more comfortable. Why would you feel comfortable with that? It's because of situation they've been in. What is the way forward? Let us gather the drug addicts that we've been able to notify. In as much as we are destroying the supply chain, let's look at the people who are the consumers, the people who take it. Don't just arrest them and put them in the police custody. Don't just arrest them and put them in home. Because trust me, when you put them in home, people who are notorious will still engage in drug, the trading of that very business. They'll still be in his home and they'll still be trading it. So the way to go is that when you arrest these people, let's get a psychologist. Let's, in the community, let the opinion leaders engage them. Let them speak to them. This is one root cause of solving it. What another root cause is that we have various youth groups in communities. Various youth groups that we have, NGOs and all these kind of people. I know some NGOs are into this drug addict stopping, in as much as the National Youth Authority is on a campaign that stop drug addicts and all these kind of things. The youth groups that we have to need to take up this mandate. It's not only about going to do this project, going to this project. If we are doing the project and the people who are doing the projects for are not in a good state, what benefit do you get in return? So the various youth groups need to come up and speak or do campaign against these people. Some people, they are your friend. Some people, just your neighbor. So why don't you sit this person down? Advise the person. Because when you fail to do that, this person will end up coming to harm you tomorrow.
Right. So why do we often see these people settling in uncompleted buildings, residential areas, you know, these nice buildings that people do not really pay attention to? Why do we see settlements of drug, traffickers in these buildings?
So,
So
we assume that urban areas, they are disciplined and they don't do those things. But that is where those things happen. And then when you go to the rural areas, because we made mention of refugees, that those people there, they don't have security personnel over there, and they're like, it's just a small community, so they are there, they are just there. And because unlike the urban areas like here in Accra, maybe you work like, let's say, 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, you either see a police station or a police person or a soldier or something. When you go to those areas, we don't have those people around there. So it makes it very easy for them to indulge in those activities. And because those people are refugees, so one thing that we have to look at is our borders. Those manning our borders. They should be very, very careful and screen the people coming in.
Exactly.
They should screen them very well. And like Clement said, because the demand has been created, when you arrest them, different people will surface. So
and these days it is the use of women and even children. You know, these are people we don't easily suspect that they can have drugs and that kind of thing. With what we are seeing today, it is a woman, 35 years old. Who would even suspect her? Looking at how well built she is, you know, healthy. You know, as Peter mentioned earlier, we always think it is the one in the tattered clothes, you know, dreadlocks and that kind of thing. But usually it is the unsuspected people, the women, young girls, children, vulnerable, old women. Should we start looking at those areas?
And there's also another point that we've normalized, you know, quick money without skill or education. So people think that you can just wake up and get money through this. And there is no true illicit drugs alone. We have betting. We have those who are into prostitution. People now see their bodies as, you know, assets, not the mind. And so people think that when I get into drugs, I can easily make money. And this is because there are so many communities that lack developmental projects. There are some communities that the youth they don't have jobs. They don't even go to school. So those people are easily convinced to do such things. And so going forward, it's my plea that some of these abandoned communities, they should get some form of development for there, some job opportunities, so that the youth, because this fight, it is not going to be easy. So once you take them from there, give them something to do, and then as time goes on, I'm sure we'll be able to eradicate these illicit drug activities and criminal activities of.
So let me remind our viewers that this conversation is open to you at home, and so you can call us and share your thoughts with us. The phone lines have been open, and so the number is on your screen right now. You can call us and tell us what you think about this particular conversation and the other conversations we'll be having. What do you think governments can do better, you know, in the fight against drug trafficking? What solutions can you suggest to government? Because I know our authorities are also watching as well. Thank you very much. Clement, do you have any last submissions on this?
Yes, so maybe my last submission is that intelligence led without community trust would not succeed. Assuming this Budumbram case, I came to give the tip off and there was no trust. And at the end of the day, I go to tell the lady that police for airbag, it will not succeed. And these are some of the allegations we are getting in the fight against illegal mining. These are some of the allegations we are getting. So what am I trying to? We are communicating that in as much as there's intelligence led, there should be community trust, community engagement with the police. So now we can have a task force by bringing the opinion leaders, by bringing the youths, by bringing the narco authorities, bringing the police itself. Have a task force in the community. And what did they do? It's not only about arresting them, as I said earlier. When you get to this group of people, you can set them down. Find out why they are doing that. I always say that the why principle is very important, as our general manager always tells us. Why is the person engaging in that? Why? Find out why and give the person a solution. If the ability is there, why not? You have the capacity, give the person a solution and see if the person will not go back to the activity again. If the person is not going back, that should tell you that what the person needs is just someone to be there for him or her.
I think investment should also be pushed into rehabilitation of these people. Because you can provide support, financial support, which is mainly one of the supports they will tell you, or you give them the money, they are going back to buy the drug again because they are expensive.
There was one thing I was coming to say is that there was a saying growing up in school. I remember one of my teachers would tell you that, Clement, I was like, say, an ideal mind is the workshop of what? Of Satan. So someone who is not always active in doing something would always easily find alternative in doing whatever they want to do. So if these people have alternative thing doing, they will not engage in what they are doing.
Peter.
So it looks as though our concentration is kind of on those who abuse the drugs. Now, those who also sell them, those that are employed to sell them. So I like the why principle that Clement raised. But sometimes the why principle doesn't work, because if I'm into drugs, I sell. And then when I'm able to sell this quantity of drugs, this is the amount I earn. And you want me to stop. You want to give me a job. Comparing the salary and this one, if the salary here is not that attractive, me going back, it's very high.
So as government, you need to cut the supply.
Exactly. Not even the supply. Cut the consumption point. If there is no demand, if there's no demand for it, there will be no supply. That's the principle of demand and supply. If you supply the goods and nobody is patronizing, it will expire. And you collapse your business. So what can government do? Those who are addicted to the drugs, let's speak to them. Let them stay away. When they stay away, the suppliers, they'll stop. They'll stop.
I don't know, but realistically, just speaking to these people, it won't work.
Yes, at least. Even if we can't get, when you speak to 10, we can't get all the 10, at least you can get 2 or 1. And in so doing, you might end up breaking that cycle.
All right. And so, community members, we are engaging you not to be silent on this issue. If you are in a community and you see, these kind of illegal activities, please just say something. Walk to any police station and report. But don't blow the alarm. Don't let them know you are the one reporting them. If not, what was it? So you see, it's just like illegal mining. You made a very important, or significant comparison with drug traffickers and also. Okay, so we have a caller on the line. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, police know, every police are aware that there is a ghetto. But the thing is, the dealers over there connected with them, giving them a little bit of things. They can never stop them. That is what is happening. Unless somebody goes to report, and when they come to the police, they will say you are the one who come to report them. That is the trouble in the country. If the police can be very firm to do their job, those foolish things can stop. But they're all aware of what is happening. So they are aware of every ghetto in the country.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That is what I want to say.
Thank you very much. So he's saying that our police services are all aware of what is happening, which I beg to differ, because our security services are there to protect us. And so if you are creating the impression that they are aware of what is happening, then you are breaking, or you are even, how do I even put it, inciting that lack of trust we have in the security system. So our securities do not know. It is when we tell them that is when they act on it. And so we have to commend them and also the narcotics for the good work they've been doing so far. Clement? Or Peter, you were the one on the floor.
I think Peter.
I was even the one on the floor. So we're making a comparison with, illegal mining. And we are saying that someone is into illegal mining. You're asking the person to stop. And then you're offering the person a job. Let's say in a week, the person gets 3,000 from illegal mining. And that... Okay, so we have Raymond on the line. Hello, Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raymond, we can hear you. Please, what's your submission for today?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Raymond. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
And it's about what you guys are discussing. And I have a little idea to share about.
Little bit. We are struggling to hear you.
You said something earlier on to what you guys are discussing about going there, talk to them. Yeah, please, can you hear me?
Hello. Okay, so I think we lost Raymond. So you see, that comparison is serious because this is somebody who has seen money. I mean, every week he's seen 3,000, and you're asking the person to stop and come and work and get 3,000 at the end of the month. It is going to be difficult.
Yes.
So we need to start tackling the issue from the root cause. We have a generation that has already entered into the system. What are we doing to stop the next generation from getting into it or being attracted into that, sector?
That is. You need to make it.
So Raymond is back. Hello.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. To stop about the drugs there, it is difficult because it's difficult. Basically, it's not easy to stop that. Because my opinion, and your friend, the guy wearing the coat, suit, say something, going there, speak to the people. It's true because
Okay, so I think he has even made his point. He just said, it will be difficult to fight this particular fight, which I also do not agree. If we come together to fight, to put a stop to this fight, we will win. Anna,
he was also saying that, like, going to them and speak with them is another thing.
Yeah.
I was making a point that how can we stop this is to make it unattractive.
Yeah.
What aspect of unattractive are you talking about? It is not about going there with police officers or security. No. You see, to be able to make people stop what you are doing is not about force.
Yeah.
It's about going to the table, sitting down and talking, dialogue. It's not about stories like democracy, that's what I'm doing, but it's about dialogue. It's about getting to know why the person was doing that and giving alternative or a solution to the basis for he doing whatever he's doing. Okay. Let's look at the incidents of this Budumburam person. Now you've arrested the let's say the mother. Assuming it's an allegation. What if the mother trained a couple of people? Or what even the kids? It's an assumption. So if she has trained other people, mind you that after arresting the woman, other people end up engaging in this very thing. But what is the way forward? If the people who consume the items, you were able to speak to them gradually for them to stop consuming whatever you are talking of. Trust me, at the end of the day, when these goods come into the country and there was nobody to buy, they will stop bringing it to the country. The last time we were talking about NACOC in Takrade intercepting some drug containers and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is still coming.
Yeah.
And our security people or officials, they are doing their best to stop it entering to the economy. But in as much as they are doing that, still people are doing it.
Okay, so we have Joseph on the line. Hello, Joseph.
hello.
Yeah, good morning, Joseph. We can hear you. What do you have for us this morning? Hello, Joseph. Hello. Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Joseph.
Okay, I can hear you now. What I'm trying to make you understand is that some of the leaders know about this because when you go to the villages where they do the farming, I learned most of them are owned by the ministers. You understand? And when you are talking about drugs, even a cigarette is drug. The cigarette is even more dangerous. Why is it allowed in the community? Why is government giving those companies access to trade it in Ghana? They are all part of drugs. Sometimes they don't even start from the hard one. They start from cigarettes. I hope you get it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to look into all those things. The society is really consumed by corruption. That even the leaders, they export it. Some of the ministers, you see that they export it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joseph. Joseph has also made his point. And with the issue of even cigarettes, on the box, they've written that it can kill you. Do you get it? So, what kind of education do you need again?
That is when
addiction
come in.
Yeah.
And I would like to add up to what he said, that you can't tell me to stop eating fufu when I always have fufu at my disposal.
Okay.
You can only tell me to stop when I don't get it. Now, you say I shouldn't eat fufu, don't make it available at all. But you tell me not to eat fufu, but fufu is always available.
Peter, this year I decided not to take bread.
Yeah.
I've stopped taking bread, but right in front of my house there is a bread seller there.
That doesn't mean
it
go
is
take
my
the
mindset.
bread. Exactly.
How long did it take you?
You see. There is a saying, bringing the Bible we have access to do everything.
Yeah.
But okay, the people we are talking about find themselves in this circumstance. How do we help them?
Okay, so
let's pick them out.
Okay, we have Isaac on the line. Hello, Isaac.
Hello.
Calling us. What's your contribution?
Hello.
Isaac, we can hear you.
I'm
Metawonka, Isaac.
Yeah. And but you just we na discuss no nya de be adwuma. Because we na discuss nya de be adwuma. And I'm ka say discussion nya de be adwuma. Because in my argument is that what I say. My argument is that.
And the solution is then our phone say a bit in my
argument is that. Not no problem in a temporary argument, but be there, the do what you said you want to me and one. A police forum telephone, one mood.
Okay. Isaac, that's why that's it. So
let me say my final thing on this one so that
we move to the last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you listen to what Isaac said, he said, situation B, but after realizing that the work is not helping, that's where he stopped. He was able to realize that it's not helpful.
Yeah.
But some people can't realize that. And you could see it was something that led to something. So what is that thing that lead them to that thing?
Yeah.
Let's look for that thing.
Okay. So we are still on security issues. Let's turn our attention to cyber crimes, happening in Ghana. And a multi-agency security team has dismantled a network of suspected cyber crime centers operating in multiple, suburbs of Greater Accra, resulting in the arrest of 53 Nigerian nationals. So that is what is happening in Ghana. And cyber security. Cyber crime. Sorry.
These days, cyber crime today is not just about scamming individuals. It can target banks, government systems, and businesses. And so the reason why it matters is that right now the government is pushing for, digital economy. You're pushing for digitalization and all that. It means that businesses would have to make payment through online and what have you.
Yeah.
And now that cybercrime is also on the rise, the people will fear. And then once people lose trust, where lies this push for digital economy and all that? And so it is very imperative, government, it's a good step and it is in the right direction, and we want to see more of this. And so, like we are saying, the arrest shouldn't end there. Those who are coming from different countries, when they take them back, they should ensure that the route through which they came into the country, that place is being seized. And then they shouldn't just arrest the culprits alone. Those housing them, as a landlord, you should know the caliber of people you are bringing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that because you're looking for money. And I'm aware that some of these people, they can pay 3 times the amount you're even charging.
So they are even a cause to the rise in prices of rent we have in Ghana. But Peter, I think you've made your point very clear. And I like the fact that you mentioned that landlords should, have some kind of background information of their tenants. I remember where I live now, when I was about to, rent the place, the woman was like, "What do you do?" I was like, "I work with a TV station." She wanted to see my Ghana card. She wants to see pictures of me working at where I say I work. Do you get it? So these things will also help us in curbing the situation. Clement.
Yeah, so a very brief one. The Cybersecurity Authority have done a very good job. The last time we came on set talking about cybersecurity and how we should be able to even manage our system and how social media is exposing a lot of things. So taking this step is a very good one. I always say that, Mimi, there is a reason for everything. That is the point. There was an allegation that in Kumasi we have a place where young people have been kidnapped, and this is what they've been asked to do.
Okay.
You call that you are looking for job, for employment, and they will link you up, and you find yourself in a situation like this. And how to come out becomes a problem. And they will ask you to either bring someone so that when the person comes, you go out. But when the person comes, you're not going anywhere. And that's what they force them to do, cybercrime. And a very quick one to viewers. We all need to be very, very careful. Our password to our Momo, our bank account, and all these things, our ATM. As they'll always say that it shouldn't be your phone number. It shouldn't be your date of birth. It's easy for people to predict. So for us to be able to save in this environment we find ourselves, please get a very secured password. Any unknown number calls, don't even pick up. You'll be there, someone send you a message, a number of sending a message, for example, from a telecommunication that your account has been blocked. But you can see this thing is off. And you might also fall a victim. So all these things, we will say that viewers should be very, very careful and take a very good notice of this.
Right. Thank you so much. With regards to how in-depth this particular conversation is, we would have to bring a part 2 of this where we'll be speaking with an expert. And so a cybersecurity analyst will be joining us on Thursday here on the show where we'll be speaking with him. I think Yaira will do that as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for helping us in understanding some of the trends happening with regards to governance in Ghana. Thank you too at home for always watching us, your #1 morning show here on Clock TV. It's a pleasure to come your way every single morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yaira Awuno Williams was here earlier. We also had Benedict Nketia Kwarteng to take us into the sports segment. I am Miriam Abna Adede. Thank you and see you on Thursday.